President Muhammadu Buhari's administration has expressed its commitment to ensuring a smooth transition process and peaceful handover of power on May 29 to the President-elect Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Chairman of the Presidential Transition Council and Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Boss Mustafa, recently disclosed this at a briefing in Abuja. Currently, there are calls for an interim government by some opposition parties, muscle groups, and individuals are still calling for the cancellation of the February 25 presidential poll. Meanwhile, Labour Party's vice presidential candidate in the February poll, Dati Baba Ahmed, in several interviews, had urged President Muhammadu Buhari not to hand over to the president-elect Tinubu on May 29. He urged the Chief Justice of the Federation, Olukoya Ariwola, not to swear in Tinubu. All right, public affairs analyst Elijah Ayodele is in the studio to discuss these matters with me. This is Political Matters, and I'm Michael Adekunle. Public affairs analyst Elijah Ayodele is here with me in the studio to discuss these matters. You're welcome, Elijah.
It's a pleasure being here. Thanks and greetings to all our viewers across the globe.
All right, since the announcement of Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu as the president-elect in the last presidential election, I'm talking about the February 25 poll, it seems there is this gathering of cloud against Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu ahead of his inauguration. Now, do you see a remarkable May 29 coming to place in Nigeria?
Once again, it's a pleasure being here. And I want to quickly recall that I was here on this set for the first time in 2023 to discuss the presidential ambition of Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. And there, I remember I said that he has little or no threat to his ambition. And if you look at it, when he said during his declaration then, he said it was indeed a lifelong ambition to rule Nigeria, which means it has come to stay with a lot of preparation of ground, a lot of background, a lot of templates in place to rule Nigeria. And for such a man to skate through the hurdles of the party's primaries,
Okay.
and at the end of it, he emerged winner and also won the presidential election, is an indication that a lot of uproar will come. But to me, as far as May 29 inauguration is concerned, it is obvious we are going to have inauguration. Our hard golden democracy cannot be truncated because somebody lost election or somebody won an election. I said it here then, I remember that a winner will march. Our country will remain a country, that we are not good, that the election will not divide us. And I'm still here to retreat on that fact that May 29 will come, it will be inaugurated, and the country will move on under another administration.
Yeah, you said the country will move on another administration. Don't forget that there have been diverse calls by different groups, individuals for the cancellation of the February poll. I'm talking about the presidential poll that just took place in the country. Now, Tinubu, of course, you said it, he was a man to beat in that election. And at the end of the day, he came victorious. He emerged victorious. Now, how do you think this man can drive Nigeria forward? He is the president-elect, no doubt about it. Of course, the case is still ongoing in the courts, despite the fact that the PDP's case, Article's case, has been dismissed. How do you think Tinubu can drive Nigeria forward? Do you think he will run an inclusive government?
If it is the same Tinubu that I know, Tinubu, as a political enigma in this country, has always demonstrated the astuteness of his uh, leadership experience. For a fact, he's going to run a national government and it will be all inclusive. Looking at his antecedents when he was governor in 1999 in Lagos State, he ran all an inclusive government that is devoid of political affiliation, religion, ethnic, ethnical backgrounds, or whatever, whatever. He brought people from, for instance, he brought Benakabueze as his commissioner for budget and economic planning, who is not even from Yoruba race. He brought Wale Edun from Ogun State to head the finance ministry. He brought Dele Alake from Ekiti State as the information commissioner. He brought Ralph Aregbesola from Osun State. Are they his brother? Are they his kinsmen? Are they from Lagos? No. This is a proof that he knows what to do by fixing the right peg on the right hole to get a proper erection of a roof that will accommodate everyone, that will bring about sense of belongings and inclusiveness. So his administration, I cannot wait to see him announcing his list of people that will work with him. He believe and trust in competency, in experience. Is don't forget, in our political firmament as a country, no one come near Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu in terms of discovering talents and make them to deliver results. So he has done it before, and I don't doubt him. He's going to do it even much better in a bigger stage, occupying the number one seat of the country. If he succeeded in doing that in Lagos State, and we got the result, and he's still counting till today, if he moves to the presidency, he's going to. Don't forget, he's a man that believes in your competency, regardless of your background, regardless of your tongue, regardless of your ethnicity background. Religion is not a factor to him. He will do it. So I believe he's going to drive Nigeria forward positively.
Positively, and don't forget we have diverse or different challenges now Nigerians have been faced with. We have the issue of power, the epileptic power supply that this administration has been tackling for so long, and which we've not seen anything substantial from that angle. We have insecurity. Security is very, very paramount in the country. We have health, the dilapidating health sector. These are challenges ahead of Tinubu, and I believe they are strong challenges. These are challenges. Even the administration of the former president, Chief Olusegun Obasanjo, was not able to solve. Jonathan, to some extent, he tried, but his own administration was marred by insecurity. Now, do you think Tinubu can stand these challenges, and how do you think he will be able to solve it?
I am very confident and positively minded that he's going to deliver on his mandate. When he was describing it as a lifelong ambition, he must have make an inroad into all the sectors, all the segments, all the facets of life within the country that we need to improve on. Obasanjo couldn't defeat insecurity does not mean he didn't work. It's a challenge
Would you say
faced
Obasanjo couldn't defeat insecurity, or Jonathan couldn't defeat
in the
insecurity?
days of Obasanjo. We have security challenges. It wasn't as big as this. He could not eradicate it. The point I'm making is this: every country in the world we face at one point or the other one challenge ranging from economy to insecurity. So our own is not new. It's not exceptional. I'm waiting to see how Tinubu will tackle all this in terms of working out things positively with a result that we gladden the hearts of people. I believe health-wise, he has done it in Lagos. It's there to speak for itself. He will deliver. In terms of insecurity, he knows what to do. I'm not sitting here to tell the world that he's going to remove or eradicate insecurity.
Elijah, when it comes to ruling a nation, it's different from ruling a state. It's always a different ball game entirely when it comes to ruling a
You only
nation.
need a bigger template,
It
moving from
was
that state level to federal level. if you can meet up with no state in Nigeria has more ethnicity people in numbers than Lagos. He was able to manage and meet the needs of every ethnic groups in Lagos State between 1999 and 2007. There was no crisis that he was unable to manage. We have problems at hand, but they are not insurmountable.
But these
Especially
are
to a man that a political administrator like him.
but these are national issues.
Of course, it's a national issue.
You can't compare. You can't compare it.
You understand. This is a man that understands the rudiments of governance, so he knows what to do.
Rudiments of governance in
Yes,
Lagos State
not in
or
Lagos.
in Nigeria.
Rudiment of governance. I mean, as a man, you need a template
Okay.
to rule a state. You need a larger and a broader one to rule a country. You are not here to tell me that Tinubu is not part of Nigerians that understood what we passed through before getting to this point. Don't tell me you are talking about power. Tinubu was the only governor between 1999 and 2007 that agitated for independent power projects.
I can remember.
If it was approved,
he did, yeah.
Lagos will have not gotten less than 30,000 megawatts. But because the people at the central then did not see it the way he saw it, they did not believe we can move away from the national grid and generate power. So if, as at 23 years ago, he saw it coming that we will need power to drive our economy, to live our daily life as a people. So, as of today, the vision of that 1999 to 2007 will have been more broader and bigger than it was then. So don't tell me, okay, at the end of it, Buhari is about to leave office. Why do they come back to talk about approving independent power project for each of the states to generate? Because at the central, we could not provide light that would serve the whole 36 states. And they believe that if they allow the states to generate power for themselves, they will make it a project and it will work. If in Lagos we can make our own rail line and it's working, what are you now telling me that such a man that has that template will not make it much bigger at the federal level? You can do it, I believe.
Now, I'm not doubting your own facts concerning Tinubu. Now, let me bring you back to Lagos State. This is a state where we have talks that are really disturbing the peace of Lagosians, and he's not been able to do something about it. And apart from that, we have the issue of agberos on ground, and these are some of the things, the likes of roads. Vival Gbadebo of the Labour Party and Jandor of the People's Democratic Party used in campaigning during the governorship election in the states. Now, would you tell me that such man will be able to live up to the expectations of Nigerians when he becomes, or when he's inaugurated?
Yes, for a fact, he's going to handle our challenges.
Now I'm talking about security.
Very maturely, our challenges ranging from economy to security.
Okay.
You talk about Agbero or road transport workers in Lagos State.
Not just Agbero alone, talks.
Well, what you mean by talks, I don't know. But as far as Nigeria is concerned, we have people with unruly characters everywhere. If you call them talks. Okay, in Lagos State, before 99, you know what happens across the state? From Lagos Island to Oshodi to other parts of the state, through the so-called talks. Today you are telling me they are still existing. But compare the number of robbery, snatching of bags, and other valuables in the broad daylight before 1999 and now. If those thugs are still in town and they desist from robbery, don't forget that was one of the reasons why we have OPC in the southwest then, because robbery became a bigger threat to our daily lives. And they came. With the government help, they flush all these things. So I don't know what you meant by talks.
The government of Tinubu or the government of Raji Fashola, because I could remember it was during Fashola's era, Togri was reduced drastically in Lagos State, not during the era
Are
of
you saying in
Tinubu.
the days of Tinubu as governor that we have more of robbery compared to the time of Buba Marwa? He knows how to manage these people. You call them thugs. He didn't see them that way. There are a lot of people you refer to as thug in the time past. They are doing well in one organization or the other.
But it's also
Today,
but it's also
coming back to be
surfaced.
a
It's also
respectable person in
surfaced.
society.
Okay,
Yeah.
but don't forget it's also surfaced in the governorship election.
Well, let us wait and see.
They intimidated the electorates that were going out to vote.
I don't want
Don't forget that. Don't forget that.
I don't want to talk about the election and the happenings here. And the reason is very simple and very factual. If we talk of threat, intimidation, it is not only in Lagos State. It happens in this southwest, so also in south and southeast. We have several videos in circulation. You can testify to it. But why is Lagos own very peculiar? Because it's the home of the man to be it, as Wajibola meant Tinubu. So I don't want to talk about it because those that lost election, either to the office of the presidency or governorship, are already approaching court. So it will be unwise of me to sit here and be discussing or analyzing it. Let us wait to see what the court will pronounce in respect of whatever evidence, be it pictorial, video, or whatever evidence they are bringing before the tribunal.
Now let's go back to the issue of interim government. Individuals and opposition parties have been calling for it. Now, of course, the call for an interim government is an invitation to anarchy in the country. And when you look at it, the only time we experienced this or this surface was in 1993, if I'm not mistaken, during the Badamasi Babagida's era. And this happened after the annulment of June 12th election. Now, what do you foresee in this dispensation, especially when people are calling for an interim government? And how do you think APC government can resist this?
Well, I think it is more of grievances on the part of those that contested and lost election. Interim national government is not doesn't have a place in our constitution. So our electoral act did not envisage it in any of the section of that act. So I'm not seeing it as something that will come and stay. I rather expect a good spirit of sportsmanship on the part of those that contested the election and lost,
Okay.
not to bring down the rule because you did not win election. When you are going to a contest, it's either you win or you lose. When you win an election, you try to be magnanimous. If you couldn't win and you lost, then you sit back, go to your drawing board, check where and where you've gotten it wrong, retrace your steps, re-strategize for another 4 years. It will come, you will win again if you so wish. You're like the man in Kano that won the governorship election. He won on a clean sheet, and the APC candidate congratulated him. Now, on the issue of people calling for interim national government, it shows that they are very selfish. They are coming to contest election for their primordial interest. They might not in one way or the other partake in enthroning this democracy. It's a hard-gotten one. No sane man under the sun will ever call for interim national government because the election doesn't go in your favor. And those that are supporting, those voices supporting them, are the real enemy of this country. So I believe interim government will not come. This is a democratic system of government. A military man will just come in the morning and use a decree to rule over you. Nothing happens. That was why IBB succeeded in 1993 in bringing a late Chief Anesoneka as an interim government. He wanted to go. There are forces behind him. He could not succeed. He could not pronounce Abiola the winner of that election. So he has to annul and set up interim national government and move away from the seat of power. But in a democratic system of government, when an election is conducted, a winner emerge. The best anyone could do is to approach the tribunal to seek for redress, not to call for interim government or to take a move that will truncate the government in place. I don't support it. It is not proper. It is wrong.
And for those who want to turn the country into a banana republic, what advice would you give to them?
If it is their country, if they love the country, if the country has in one way or the other supported their existence to a point where they realize that they should either rule at one level or the other, if those that came ahead of them has turned into Banana Island, they won't have the chance of coming up at this stage. I will simply advise them to desist from such an act that is capable of, one, ruining their future, whether politically or in whatever field of area they belongs. Number two, for the interests of the country and the unborn generation, they should desist from that. Nigeria is a country where everyone can prosper. It's a country where every man has the potential to flourish. It's a country where different potentials keep springing up from different angles of the country. And the world testify to that. They will come and look for doctors there from abroad. They come and look for IT personnel from abroad. It's a country that has all it takes to prosper. If maladministration has not dominated us, we progress. And I'm still very confident that sometime, somehow, in no distant time, our country will be great. People will be happy, beating their chest to be a true citizen of Nigeria.
Now, whether we like it or not, there will be transition of power, come May 29. But when you look at it, it's not all about, getting the power. It's all about, applying a different style of governance, when you get enthroned. Now, as Tinubu lands from the Buhari's administration?
Yeah, he can speak for himself, but from what we have seen, if it is truly a lifelong ambition of Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, he must have seen from different angles with different lenses what he has done. If it is a lifelong ambition, let's say from the beginning of this current dispensation, this democratic dispensation, from Olusegun Obasanjo to Yar'Adua to Jonathan to Buhari and coming to him, he must have seen one error or the other from each of those governments. And to now say lifelong ambition, it means he has seen things that needed to be done right or much better. So he must have taken his time to put in place every gadget, every machinery needed, human resources, to move the country in the direction of where it should go as he envisaged it before he pronounced it a lifelong ambition. So he's going to do well, I believe. Whatever forces that will come, he should be able to maneuver and get it done right.
All right. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you for coming on board. I must confess, it has been a very, very interesting program. Thank you so much, Elijah, for coming on board.
It's a pleasure. And I want to tell Nigeria to be patient with the new incoming administration. And I also advise the man to be magnanimous in victory. I mean, that's why Bola Ahmed Tinubu to open his arms and the door of his heart to people's idea. It is our country who need to join hands together to move it forward.
All right, thank you so much, Elijah. That was a very, very great word from you. And on this note, we say goodbye to you on today's edition of Political Matters. Join us next time on the same platform. Michael remains my name. Thank you. Bye.